Students, in today's lecture again we are going to continue with the practical number 2 of advanced web programming. Now only C part is remaining, that is create simple application to demonstrate use of following concept. So in practical number 2C we are having total 2 questions using delegates and event, and the second question is exception handling. So let's start. We have already seen both the topics, but I have added some different programs for the practical. So practical number 2C, 1, that is first question is using delegates and event. For this particular practical I kept the graphical user interface very simple, that is we are having just single button. You just need to take one button from the toolbox, okay, and just change the text of button delegates, okay. So on the button click, the program which we have implemented, that will be executed and we will get to see the output. So this is your interface for the practical number 2C. Just take a button from toolbox and change its text to delegate. And now we are actually starting with the delegate program. We have already seen this topic in theory also, okay, both delegates as well as exception handling. So before starting with the delegates, as we all know that there were total 4 steps about the delegate. That is, first we have to declare the delegate, then we have to declare the delegate methods which matches its signature, then we have to instantiate the delegate and then call the specific method, okay, with the help of delegate object. So these are the 4 steps which are part of delegates. So the same thing, first step, that is we have to declare the delegates. So just see inside partial class default 3, first line is creation of delegate. So how we will create the delegate, the syntax also we have seen. So first we have to write down the modifier, that is access specifier public private. Most of the time we use public only. After that make use of delegate keyword. After that just write down the return type whatever you want. Now in this program I have taken void as a return type. You can take int, float, depending upon the question. And after that just write down the name of the delegate. So in this program name of our delegate is simple delegate. The spelling is wrong actually, delegate it is, but you can take any name. And the delegate in this program which we have created, that is parameterless, because parameters are optionals. When we have seen this particular topic, in that we have seen the parameterized delegate. So now this one is the parameterless, because you will be having question as just write a program in C# to demonstrate the concept of delegate. So I have tried to keep it simple for the same. So now we are having parameterless delegate. So when we will create methods for this particular delegate, which points we should remember? That is, as we all know that the method should matches the delegate signature. So what do you mean by delegate signature? If we have whatever return type you have used for a specific delegate, that you have to use for the method. And if your delegate is parameterless, then whatever method, delegate method which you are going to create, that should be parameterless. If the method delegate you have declared parameterized delegate, then in that situation the method should have parameter, like that. So now in our case we have to use void as a return type, because our delegate is having void as a return type. And after that the delegate which we have created, that is parameterless. So the methods, delegate methods which we are going to create, that should be parameterless. So 2 delegate methods I have created in this section, first method and second method. Just keep it simple only. In first method, response.write, first function call, and in second method the statement or the definition which we have written, that is response.write, second function call, okay. So now in the particular slide we have declared the delegate, and then we have also performed the second step, that is delegate method creation. Now we have to jump to third step, that is we will create the object, that is instantiation of a delegate, and then we will invoke the delegate method, right? So 2 steps are remaining. Definitely that step we are going to perform on button click. So button 1, just double click on the button 1, you will get the button 1 underscore click event, and in that first we have to instantiate, that is we have to create the delegate object. So simple delegate a equal to new simple delegate into round bracket first method we have passed, and a plus equal to new, and after that simple delegate into round bracket second method, and then we have called, that is these first two lines in which we have binded the delegate methods with the delegate object, and then we are invoking that particular object, that is third line, a round bracket semicolon, that is nothing but the invocation. Okay, and now in this program plus equal to we have used to add more than one method. And just as a small revision about the delegate, basically the main use of delegate is what, we never pass method as a parameter when we create the object, but with delegate that is possible, we can pass method as a parameter in case of delegate. So this is main advantage of delegate. Okay, so definitely once you will run the program, you will be having delegate button, and when you simply click on delegate button, you will get the following output, that is first function called, second function called. So this is your expected output. Okay, that is delegate. And now we are moving to the next question, that is exception handling. If you want to add, you can add event program also, which we have seen during the lecture. That program you can add as a part of this practical, but unnecessarily I don't want to extend the practical, because in case of advanced event programming this is not the case, that is we are having practical one, only one question. As we have seen in practical number 2a we have solved 4 questions, 2b we have solved 4 questions, now 2c we are having 2 questions. So this is the reason why I am trying to keep all the practicals simple. Don't want to add so many programs unnecessarily, because all the programs we have already studied in the theory section. Okay, now move to the next program, that is exception handling. For exception handling, as you all know that what do you mean by exception? Exception is nothing but the unexpected condition. Okay, and if we want that even though there is unexpected conditions, still our program should execute smoothly, then in that situation we make use of exception handling. And to handle the exception, we are making use of so many blocks, like try block is there, then catch block is there, then we have finally block. Okay, then throw keyword we are using to throw a specific exception. So basically the code which we assume or we think that this particular code will create the exception, that particular code we write in try block, and catch block is totally responsible for catching the exception which is thrown by the try block. So and this is the reason why immediately after closing the try block, the catch block should be present. Okay, so this is the basic concept of exception handling. We have inbuilt exception classes also, IO exception, divide by zero exception, and now in this program we are going to use the user defined exception. So for this particular practical, again we are having interface as, just take 2 text boxes from the toolbox, and after that take one button and change the text property of that button to division. So this is the interface for this exception handling practical, and this is the code, that is you have to write the code on button 1 underscore click event. Just here I have tried to implement divide by zero exception. So I have declared 3 variable a, b, c. A and b are the variable which is having input values, and in c variable definitely we are going to calculate the division of a and b. Okay, so it's not necessary that every time the user will enter specific number only. User can enter value of b as a 0. So in that situation we actually need to handle, that is even though the user entered b's value as a 0, we should give a certain exception and the remaining program will continue to execute. So for the same I have declared 3 variables int a, b, c. Then in a and b we are going to take the value from text box 1 and text box 2. So how we will take the values from the user? A equal to convert dot to int32 into round bracket text box 1 dot text. What is use of convert dot to int32 function? It will simply convert this input which is in the form of string to the integer. Or you can make use of parse dot in 32 method also, just for the conversion of string to number or integer. Similarly, we have taken b value, as we all know that the text, whatever number we will enter inside text box number 2, that we want as a value of b. So the same statement we have written. Then in try block, as I said previously, that if you feel that certain line of code is going to create the exception, then that line we can add inside try block. So the same thing I did, that is c equal to a divided by b. As I said again previously, that user can enter any value of b. It can be 0, but if user is entering value 0, it means what? It is an exception. And it is not the case this exception is occur only in C#. In all other programming languages, the same exception is there. So this particular line I have added in try block because I feel that this particular line will definitely going to create the exception. And then again there is one more line, that is response dot write division is plus c. This line, particular line also I have added in try block because this particular print statement is totally related to C. Okay, so if we are displaying this particular statement after catch block, then it will, that this particular statement is going to get executed, but there will not be any value of C, or it can take any garbage value of C. And this is the reason why we have I have added this particular sentence response dot write inside try block only. And again, once we close the try block, after that the catch block should be present. So now in catch block, we have passed one inbuilt exception class, that is for this particular program it is clear that this particular program is going to create divide by 0 exception. This is the reason why I have written in catch block divide by 0 exception, and the name of the object is x. Okay, and if you are not sure, then you can make use of exception class. Just write exception x, so it will take the develop exception. Okay, and in catch block we have simply display response dot write x, that is it will display the message in the form of system. The way system will give you the message, in that format the message will be displayed. And if you want your own message, then in place of x within a double quote, just write down the message whatever you want to give, that is value of b should not be 0, like that, so that user will get some idea, yes, I have entered the value of b as 0, and this is the reason why we are getting such type of error. So this is your exception handling. So once you run the program, that is you will get to see 2 empty text boxes and then button is there. Then you will simply enter the value, like in this case I have entered 4 in text box 1 and 0 in text box 2, and then we are having division button. Okay, so after entering these values, just simply click on division button. You will get the error as system dot divide by 0 exception, attempted to divide by 0, like that. This particular exception in the form of system you will get. Okay, so in today's session I have added only these 2 programs, because now actually we are done with the practical number 2, which is actually very lengthy. So from next lecture we are going to start with the unit number 2. Till then,